And with the devastation in Gaza mounting as Israel wages war on Hamas, let's bring in retired Lieutenant General Richard Newton, former Air Force Assistant Vice Chief of Staff and NewsNation senior national security contributor. Lieutenant General, welcome back.
Good morning, Hena. Again, always good to be with you, and happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday, sir. Truce talks are set to resume today in Cairo. We've been down this road before. You and I have had this conversation so many times. Can you remind us what is stopping Hamas from agreeing to these negotiation terms?
Well, as you allude to, Director of the Central Intelligence Agency, Bill Burns, is leading the U.S. Delegation to Cairo, almost as we speak right now, to conduct another round of multiple rounds of negotiations in Cairo with Egypt, with Qatar, with the United States, obviously with Israel. I'm sure there's en route, if not already there, a Hamas delegation of some kind. And so what's at stake is, again, to see if they can come through a modicum of agreement to release the hostages, which number around 100 right now, my sources tell me. But what is really holding Hamas from any agreement is their very strong, long-standing stipulation that the talks result in a permanent ceasefire. If that's the case, Hamas is allowed to maintain or survive, certainly with its military terrorist wing, and therefore they get to fight and live another day. That is not going to happen, at least from Israel's perspective, to allow that to happen, as we now are on the 6-month anniversary, Hena, the brutal attack of Hamas on Israel on 7 October.
I want to tell our viewers, just this morning, a spokesperson said that the Israeli military has withdrawn its ground troops from the Gaza Strip, except for one brigade. Do you think this is a sign of upcoming changes in this war?
I do not. I don't think Israel is going to be in a position where they're going to abandon Gaza militarily. They're still conducting operations to the north, both from the air as well as from the ground. And they're in what I would say from a military standpoint, positioning to reset, to conduct operations in the south, specifically in Rafah, once they feel compelled to do so. And that would be to go after the last bastion of Hamas terrorists, who are about 4 battalions worth, around 10,000, who are still operating in southern Gaza specifically. So I would not necessarily read that as Israel backing off, other than perhaps more of a military term, resetting.
Michael Chanel from The Hill and I were just talking about the relationship between Biden and Netanyahu being strained. What more would you like to see from Biden? And do you think he's given Netanyahu too much latitude here?
I think he's really putting President or Prime Minister Netanyahu in Israel in a corner. I think, and that is where he has put on the table publicly in the public forum. And that's rather disappointing from my perspective. Because we are the closest ally with Israel, long-standing, lots of historical, very strong historical relationship. And so he's put out in the public square that President Biden's demanding a permanent ceasefire, which I don't think is in the best interest of Israel, or frankly in the best interest of trying to thwart this global war on terrorism, which all emanates from Iran, which is another conversation. But nonetheless, I would like to see more of a closer relationship to kind of come back now, where President Biden makes perhaps some stronger points in terms of supporting Israel in their endeavor to destroy Hamas. All the while, though, however, it's a very chaotic scene in Gaza. Our hearts go out certainly to the non-militant Palestinian civilians, over 1 million who are certainly in harm's way, but also going through a food crisis and a famine of themselves. Israel, as Michael has reported, has opened up 3 different ports of entry into Gaza. They've also, the seaport to about 22 miles north of Gaza is now opened up, Israel's port, to allow for aid to come in through sea. It's a very difficult humanitarian crisis, but at the same time, Israel should be supported by the United States, both diplomatically and certainly providing weapons and militarily as well to finish the job.
Retired Lieutenant General Richard Newton, we always appreciate your insights, sir. Thank you for joining us this Sunday. Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.